I don't believe they know much about it because again, it's something that's not really popular in Nigeria. If you actually look at it, most people still don't know about it. That's actually a really good idea. It's not something I thought about reaching out to them, but it's definitely something I'll consider now because it's if you're looking to make this something consistent, then it is a great possibility to reach out to them and ask them if it's something they would consider. Making a constant basis in Abuja. It does happen in Lagos often, as Miss Kemi, the Rubik's Cube senior delegate of Nigeria, she constantly tries to make competitions happen. But since she's based in Lagos, the competitions all happen in Lagos, and none of them have happened in Abuja. So it's important to have someone based in Abuja to help these competitions happen more often. But because I am in and out of the country most of the time, it is difficult for me to go and meet with the schools and meet with people to help host and organize a competition. That's been the only problem.
Okay. And in sport, there are different ways from experience as a sport broadcaster and reporter that there are different ways you can introduce sport to the community. Is either you go through the schools, like most times sport like chess, go through the schools because they say things is an academical sport to increase much your mentality. What is the health benefits of cubing apart from being a competition? What do the participants gain when they cube?
Well, competition is more, I would say, the later on side of it, because you still need to learn how to solve the Rubik's Cube. And in order to learn to solve the Rubik's Cube, it is back to what I said about that dedication and practice. Because the way I see it is that it's a challenge. It is the world's best-selling puzzle, and it is something that people see as difficult to do. So by teaching someone or having the patience to teach someone, it teaches them patience, it teaches them practice, and it teaches them consistency. Because if, one, you don't do it consistently, you're going to forget how to solve it. Second of all, in order to learn these algorithms and to learn these steps, you do need to practice them over and over and over again. So most people get frustrated and stop. But then when you actually push beyond that barrier, that's when you can actually say, oh, I can solve the Rubik's Cube. And once they actually learn how to solve the Rubik's Cube and they finish, then their whole mindset changes and they're like, wow, it's actually a lot easier than I thought. And correct, because it all comes down to patience and practice. So when it's taken into schools where students are learning and engaging, they're going to face challenges in their future. It just poses one of these sort of simple examples of how what you see as a challenge can actually be a simple solution if you just take the patience and the time to learn how to sort of adhere through that.
Okay, before we round up on the show, I think you're talking so much as an expert, which you are, but is there any other persons or group of people that's intelligent or perhaps the first-ranked Nigeria in cubing? Is there a way to know the best of the best in cubing in the country, or is there a system that have to rank you guys? Apart from you, are there other people that are better, perhaps, in quote and unquote, that also have the same motivation, the same ideas with you in trying to promote the sport, cubing?
Yes, in fact, there is someone, his name is Dada, and he's from Nigeria, but he actually schools in the Philippines. So he's the one that hosted the competition in Lagos when he was back here, and he actually holds the records for the 3x3 average. He holds the record for 4x4, 5x5,
in the world?
6x6. No, in Nigeria, the national record for Nigeria. He actually currently recently got the African record as well for the 5x5. So it's something that he's sorry, for the 6x6. So it's something that he's now catching up to the rest of the world. As we mentioned, we're trying to increase cubing in Nigeria. And one of the first steps is to actually compete with our neighboring nations in Africa, because most of the fast cubers are from places like South Africa or Algeria. So in trying to catch up to them, we need to improve our skills, and that's what Dada is doing. And he's been increasing his times really, really rapidly because he focuses on big cubes as well. I focus on a lot of the, like just a 3x3 and one-handed. So the way that people can determine who's the fastest in the nation is probably just by the single or by the average. So, for example, I host the 3x3 single record with 8.51 seconds, but he hosts the average. So it just depends on what you see. Do you value consistency or do you value the quickest time in general? So again, I consider him the fastest. He would say I'm the fastest, but it's just something that we often push that aside because in the group chat that we have for Cubers in the community, we're just saying we need to catch up with the rest of Africa. So it's all about trying to improve and motivate others to improve their skills so we can catch up, get some more African records, and then hopefully try and tackle on some world records.
Okay, definitely. Just lastly on the show, the future of Cuban. What's the future like? What you're also doing, the rest of you, I know the community already, doing to uphold the future of Cuban in Nigeria. How do you see it?
So there are a lot of young Cubers, and especially in the group chat, who are being engaged into the Cuban community, and then of course teaching a lot of younger students. I plan to organize a small classroom where I can, for free, teach some people how to solve the Rubik's Cube. Because again, it's something that I want to do during my free time. It's something that I'm passionate about, and I'd like to share that passion with other people. So it's definitely something that I'm considering, and as well in the group chats and with Miss Kemi, who is the delegate, and then with Dada and whatnot, we're always trying to promote cubing amongst Nigerians. We're always trying to share our passion, and by creating videos that either I make or that Dada makes or that some of the Rubik's Cube filmmakers make when they go to Rubik's Cube competitions, these videos are actually gaining more and more traction on YouTube, and that's hopefully would spur people to gain more of an interest into the cubing community.
So the future is bright. I mean, for Nigerian cubing.
Definitely, as we advance more and as people gain more awareness and whatnot, it holds the possibility. Because again, as of now, we'd see this as the seed stage. It's a very beginning stage where there's still only quite a few people, and we've only held about 3 or 4 competitions in total. Compare this to some of the other countries in the world, or even in Africa, who host 4 or 5 competitions a year. We definitely have potential for growth. And with that potential for more competition comes more potential for growth and improvement. Okay,
obviously, I was thinking that was definitely my last question, but without few time by our side right now, obviously, is it also a source of income? I mean, can you rely on being a Cuba as a source of income? Is there a league, like sort of like a football league, like a table tennis league of this sport across the globe?
Unfortunately, there isn't. This is more of a hobby thing that most people engage in. Some people have found a way to sort of make some income off of it. So for example, if you look at the top cubers, some of them host like training courses, they host videos, they have websites where someone can subscribe to, and it breaks down all of the techniques they use, the specific algorithms they use, the way they turn their fingers specifically, and then some people can replicate that. So a lot of the younger cubers that are in the cubing community now, which are like some of the fastest ones that I did tell you about, they model themselves around those elder cubers who have been there and who hold these programs. And as you can see, it's reaped the benefits. And some of them do online training, online courses. Some of them do breakdowns of, you send them a bunch of solves and they can critique it. They can say, well, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing that wrong. And they get paid for doing that. For me, it's just a hobby, so I don't see myself doing any of those. I just like to share, to solve the Rubik's Cube and then share that passion with other people. But it's definitely possible.
Thank you very much, Sadiq Ahmed, a Cuba. Spent, like you said now, it's time to teach the world about cubing and, to continue making sure that Nigeria has a lot of Cubas and placing Nigeria on the map of a Cuban nation. Thank you for what you've done in the past and what you intend to do for this community. Thank you very much, Sadiq Ahmed.
Thank you very much.
If you're just joining us, we just spoke with Sadiq Ahmed, who is a Cuban expert. There's so much to know about Cuban. But that's all we could take on today's program. Thank you for joining us. Let's don't forget, same time tomorrow, we'll be giving you all what you need to know in the world of sport. I'm Mudashiru Shitu. Thanks for watching.